Yeah, after that, right? You talking? They came with New York, New York,
Yeah.
CNN. Because remember, we would go over there sometimes with Cheeks, man. Man. You know,
Yep.
that's when I met Have. I met Have. I met Havoc out there. We would go to Left Rack. So, but it was immediately right then that they came with New York, New York, because by the time Lost Boys was going to West Coast, we weren't involved in the East Coast West Coast thing. I was booking
Yeah, yeah, the beef was
shows.
hot. The beef was hot
Yeah,
right then. It was
yeah, it
hot.
was hot, and we was probably one of the only group. We weren't the only group, but we were one of the only groups that was going to both coasts. We were going to the South. We were performing in the Midwest. We were going overseas. You know, them guys, they were road warriors. Lost Boys was going everywhere. There was rap. Every school, every college that had, back to school, spring break, Lost Boys was there. We called them road warriors. So Traj, Nori, Capone, they took off with New York, New York. The whole world knows it, man. As a matter of fact, we was scared for them, damn near, man. It was that record was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. For me,
It was mixtape before it went to Flex. Like just mixtape alone, Flex had to play it. It was too crazy. You know.
for me at that time, I know I had felt like hip hop wasn't answering. The for New York, I felt like hip hop wasn't really answering what was going on. And we was getting a lot of West Coast slander at that time, in my opinion. I mean, people want to debate that today, but those that's old enough know the truth. They was coming at our head. And CNN, yeah, that song kind of, it kind of put us back, kind of, it was
So
it.
so you know what was
I
happening.
I think that was in response to the time though. There was a lot of it was stem. I'm sorry. A lot of it was actually stemming from the narrative that was being pushed back and forth between East Coast and West Coast. So what was happening was a lot of it was almost like one would say one thing, the other one would respond to it, and then vice versa. So I don't think that it came from like a place of like direct, you know, being direct to it. I think it was like responding to a circumstance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, so that's what it was on the surface, but the core of it, from where I was sitting, because like I said, Lost Boys was going everywhere. So the core of it for me, I was removed from the field. I didn't have to pick a side. And when I first went to LA in '96, I fell in love with the place, man. I had never been to California before '96. When I got out there and I saw it, I fell in love with it. And what I realized was it's the money, it's the bread. The reason that New York felt a certain way because West Coast was coming for the wallet. That's what it was. Like Death Row, Easy's label, the Bay Area, they were coming for the wallet. And to give what I'm saying some, so what's my receipt for that? Easy, cash money. When No Limit came, No Limit was coming for the wallets, man. And P proved it. He's still getting the wallet with Snoop right now, with the cereal and with the movies and all that. He's still getting the wallet. So they came for the wallet, and then Cash Money came for the wallet. And I noticed that about a lot of times when NYC speak on when it's surface, they sometimes it'll come up who was taking payola to play certain music, right? But it was the wallet though. No DJ gonna turn down that payola, to play the music. And that's when you started hearing less and less New York on Hot 97 and the sister stations, and even and up and down the East Coast because the wallets, man. these other regions of the country or the nation was coming with them wallets. When Cube came to New York, the real bread from West Coast hadn't started yet. It's right after Cube got there. Then it started to get kind of crazy where it was like, even down to retail and placement. You would walk into the Virgin Records right there in Manhattan, and you would, Tower Records, and you would see West Coast. When No Limit was coming, and then definitely by the time Cash Money came to it, when they stepped to the table, you would see Cash Money album, Juvenile. You see Juvie on like all over the racks. He have a cutout in the city in Manhattan. So these kind of things. So not to cut your wisdom with that, but I know it was because of the wallets. They was coming with the bread, just straight up.
So basically, they were cutting into the.
New York was still mixtaping, and
they were cutting into the bottom line.
This is free. Mix now. The dudes pumping the tapes. Some was getting it way more than others, but you know how it go. You go put a verse on a mixtape, it's for nothing. You're not getting paid to rock on a mixtape, and New York kept that going, and I think that the East Coast missed the boat with that. All the other regions of the country was like, okay, all right, we can get down with this. P was giving out chains to his artists. Remember, New York started copying other regions. They had no choice. Like, they started copying other regions when it came time to, everybody on your label got a chain. That started in another region. As far as I know, do you know, did that start in New York? I thought it started with like No Limit.
Yeah, No Limit with Master P, yeah.
I didn't feel the for me personally, I didn't feel, because I feel like I'm like a product of that because, me and Ken is the same age, so it affected me more than it might have affected you. You might be in the next generation, but I'm not gonna lie, the sun might rise on the east, but it sets on the west. I listen, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that was hurtful. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this coming from? You know what I'm saying? I didn't think New York personally had anything personal against those guys because we liked NWA. We liked, all of that stuff. It wasn't until little slick comments was being made, that certain guys, we heard that was in the street.
But to Canibus,
I don't want to cut your wisdom. I just don't want you the bigger picture is the bigger picture. And I'm
talk about it.
I'm here to tell you it was about the bread. See, what happens with melanated people, right? That's why groups break up, right? New Edition, leaders of the new school. I mean, name a group, man. Particularly East Coast groups, EPMD. Like, it gets back to the bread. So rather than try to let's get into let's speak in absolutes. Let's not get into the stuff that that some of these folks still sitting around. They watch your show. They're gonna take offense to it, and it's something it's subjective, right? Like, everybody can't come to the table and tell their side of the story, what they said and how I felt when they heard it and the response. It's not about, I'm telling you that it wasn't about that. It was about the paper. It was about them wallets and that bread. I'm telling you.
Because there's more attention.
Let me show you something real quick. Sorry to cut you, Kenny. Just to bring it home for you.
Good.
With the when he says the paper, right? This is how the paper worked out back then. The country was forced, not only the country now, but the planet was forced. They had no other choices but to listen to New York rap. There wasn't no other alternatives. So you had to like what was coming. If it was rap you were listening to, 99% of it was from New York at a time. So wherever you from, you had to learn that song, and it was a New York slang. Once the South started to talk and rap, even though we looked at it as whack, but there was so much more people that understood what they were saying, because in New Yorkers only sound like New Yorkers. As soon as you go over the bridge, it starts sounding different. You get to Delaware, it's over. You know what I mean? So now it starts to twang, and it starts to this. And over on the West Coast, You got everybody over there from Louisiana, from Mississippi, from Alabama. And then over here, you got the North Carolinians, the South Carolinians, and everybody's here, the DC people. So once we got conquered on language, that's when the money blew the fuck up crazy because now you got more language, more customers, more groups, more money. So that's where we're putting the money. And like he said, P was ready to say, yo, put it all on that. He said they'll put it all on that. Over here, we so spoiled, we kind of scared money. Like, yo, I ain't putting shit on that, nigga. I can rap. You know, I'm not putting nothing on that. I got talent. You feel me? So that's when the powers that be said, okay, we're going to make the switch. We're going to bring the audience over here to this slang talk, this twang talk. So if you remember, that's when Nelly started finding his way. Nelly had a whole Midwest that love with. As soon as he came, her, here, her, that was it. That was it. Her, that was it. It was over with. Lost Boys, we had our run, but then these niggas come from Louisiana looking just like us and bling blinging, but they really, you got to give it up. We got a whole state down here, Louisiana. We got a whole fucking seaboard down here that speaks this way. That's where the money's at. So, yeah, that's why it was about the bread. But not to say what you're saying is, you know, even the wordplay, going back to what you're saying, Bigga, the wordplay is another offense that was biting at us. You feel me? That's when Mob and Nori and all them like, yo, because they was the young guns back then. They didn't give a fuck. They was living to die. They needed beef. That's how they lived. That's how they needed a beef. Queensbridge needed it. They all needed a beef. So when the Lil Daz and Dog Pound and all them niggas start talking shit, let's go. So the wordplay kind of woke us up too. Like, yo, y'all niggas ain't gonna start stunting on us, man. Y'all brand new. Fuck, this is New York, you know? So it's a combination of both, but the money won. And to this day, the money won. New York will never be because it's too small.
Amen.
The world is here now.
The money, amen. Like, amen. Them source ads was 5 bands per ad. When you open up the source, he had several ads. In the source.
Yeah, they put it all on.
All the dogs had a choker. They had all kinds of different color stones. It was retarded. He had a gold tank.
Yeah.
Gold M1 Abrams. So just
every Master P and every Cash Money album had diamonds on it. It had glitter on it. It was colorful. New York is a dark place. We about Timbs, jeans, Carhartts. Right. These niggas came with colors. They came with purple cars. Niggas came with purple sneakers. Right. It was over.
Right. Wu-Tang, even Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang they were the pinnacle of all super ultra lyrical and street. It was grimy. It was, you know, they were standing around a burn barrel. You know what I mean? You know, standing around a burn barrel and protect your neck. They were the pinnacle of lyricism at that time. As a group, everybody was sharp. And yet, even Starks, you know, when you look at Ghost and Ray today and all that, and even early, I'm talking about early, like Starks showed his face. Ghostface showed his face because he wanted to be on the TV. He wanted people to know who he was. Like Wu-Tang started to get it was you know, it might still have some Timbs on, but they started to flash. Think about it. By the time the second album, not Chambers, but by the time Triumph got there.
Let's rewind a little bit. Let's rewind a little bit for the viewers that don't know. In the beginning stages of Wu-Tang, Ghostface actually used to cover his face to hide his identity. Just for the people that don't know. And
was
over
the
time, as
it was the
Canibus was
craziest
explaining,
concept ever, and
yeah. So
crazy because it was first. It was before Doom. It was
right,
no one was masked, right? And
right.
so just balaclava style, Ghost. So but right after 36 Chambers, if you remember, even Wu-Tang started flashing. It was knots, it was jewelry, it was, Ghost had started flashing. It was knots, it was jewelry, it was, Ghost had, Ray, they started flashing. And that's proof. That's proof that it was about that bread. Yeah, I'm not trying to change the story of hip hop and nothing. What I'm saying is at the core of what you mean with the what was said and all that, below the scenes, right underneath that, the surface of the water right there, yo, them executives was looking at them sound scans, man. And they wanted results.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. We had to start following what they do. When Cream came, like you talked about the fire in the can, that was showing a broke rapper. That wasn't showing a money-making rapper.
Right.
So when the Southern Cats came, they showing, yo, we got money, man. We got money and everything shines. So that's when we had to step it up. So that's when the Eagle came on. That's when Ray came with this, and that's when the Cream came. And then we started getting real
Right.
juicy. You know what I'm saying? So Biggie came and he started getting, you know what I mean? So we had to catch up. We had to catch up with them, and that wasn't our style. We was setting trends. But they made us sharpen our sword for real. Got to give it to them, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have love for.
Chair, yo, Bigga, your chair got golden wings.
Yeah, I
The
actually.
Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah,
The Ark of the Covenant.
absolutely. I actually have me personally. I have love for all of those guys, and
Damn, yo, look at Indiana Jones. You look like the part Indiana Jones when they go to take it back to storage, man. You look like you sitting in there. You just took things out the crates.
Yeah, we got a mini arc right here.
yeah, the Ark of the Covenant right here.
That's an NFT right there all day. Bang.
Yeah.
Lord. Nick, that seat you sitting in right there, that behind you, that's the does that chair that chair right there, does it have like a tiger paw or a lion paw? Is that
This is actually the one on the side, not the chair itself.
The lions is on the side. You can't kind of see it.
Yeah, the lions is on the side. You can't really see it.
wow, man.
But go.
So look, y'all would have got a deal.
Just off of the set alone.
Coming like that.
X-Plan right there.
Done deal.
New talk, winning New York Knicks. New talk, winning New York Knicks. New talk, winning New York Knicks. New talk, I watch the Knicks play basketball. New York Knicks.
Ask Bigga and Polo about me. The angels I know don't know Charlie. Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most don't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps. Don't want nobody getting in between us. There's a pleasurable vibe in the air and I'm determined to keep it. It all began when I embraced my fall off. You know that cannabis, you're not relevant anymore. Talk, that's what they say when they don't wanna pay tour costs. They wanna feed you hot dogs and dollar store pork. Think I've been losing for 30-some years, helping other niggas win, no one cares. Sometimes the fight to survive is too much to bear, but watch where we go from here. Meanwhile they over there crossing the bridge to nowhere. Maybe myopic human behavior make them go there. I got gold software, but not the kind you wear. Trademarked hardware, but not the kind you share. Satellite phones for solar flares, cold weather snow gear, custom handmade from a snow bear. undisturbed permafrost, clean atmosphere. Watching the northern lights from my porch chair. A duplicate Garden of Eden, no bad actors there. Only a handful of people nowhere. Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps.
I tell them it's in the kill. Land forsaken, I'm in the real. Breakout, it's been a drill. Creating death is the pen to kill. I salute my troops, I say that they army. God produced the fruit divine that we all lead. Satanic possession, manic depression. Platonic connection, granted dissection. Me too, into the body, handsome sight. Hebrew when I told him that he is real light. Life is a movie, let's call it exist. Bad act or can't stick to the script. Selling your body, cancerous. I walk with Christ, how can I bust? Pardon self, I speak it truthfully. Nobody cares who you used to be.
Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps. Nobody cares who you used to be. What you produce today is prorated value to pay for your future needs. They staple telematics to my earlobes. Recover DNA from my hair comb. They monitor your pheromones. Welcome to the terror dome. Mandatory execution invoked. Forgiving or showing love. Redefined as an error code. And that's the most attention you will ever be shown. Lil Yachty want your mind, soul, and your body. If I was you, I'd tell him get your own shot. Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the big